Wales have announced their team, so that's what this video is about, a reaction to that. The videos are going to start coming thick and fast with all the team announcements that are coming. And yeah, so if you haven't already, please hit subscribe on the channel. I'm Tim, this is Egg Chasers, and honestly, we need to act as if this is potentially the greatest weekend of Rugby World action ever. 4 knife-edge fixtures, and that is why I'm not waiting for later on when Argentina announce their team. I'm getting straight on with the video now. I'll do another one once Argentina have announced their side, but there's just so much to talk about that I don't want to waste any time. So there you go, there's the team. And just while you're digesting that, let me say I'm Tim, this is Egg Chasers. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe on the channel. Give the video a thumbs up, that really helps, and leave your comments. What do you make of this team for Wales? Pretty handy if you ask me. Pretty handy. Firstly, actually, can I say thank you to Planet Rugby. I've used their graphics, so I'm going to give them credit, because the official Wales rugby graphics with those cartoons, it's really hard to fit on this screen and leave space for me. So, you know, I've cheated you out of the cartoons. You can go and look at those in your own time if you want. But there you go. Headlines for the Wales team. And much like with Ireland yesterday, the first thing you would have looked for is Mack Hansen okay? Just checking James Lowe's all right. And then, is James Ryan okay? 2 out of those 3 were fine. Robbie Henshaw also not there for Ireland. And it's a similar story with Wales. 2 big names on the team sheet. Liam Williams at fullback and Dan Biggar at fly half. That is massive. We already knew there was no Taulupe Faletau. But no Gareth Anscombe is the one that does miss out. And just firstly, I've got to start on him. Is there anyone that's got worse injury luck than Gareth Anscombe? In terms of World Cups, I think it would be a shootout between him and Robbie Henshaw. Just rotten luck, and after playing so well as well. And honestly, I was at that Australia game for Wales, and you could just see what it meant for Gareth Anscombe to be pulling on that Welsh jersey at a World Cup, and then to perform so well. And then here we are again. Hoping that's not a permanent injury. I actually haven't seen. I'll wait for the Warren Gatland press conference to see what the extent of that injury is. But but huge. Dan Biggar in is massive, and Liam Williams equally. They are 2 world-class talents. The other headline is in the pack. I was wondering what Warren Gatland would do. The conventional Warren Gatland system would be to have a kind of out-and-out 6, Lydia or Chunza. But he's gone for Raffel and Morgan, and you have to say fair play, Tommy Raffel. He has earned that spot in the back row with his performance last weekend, and fair play. Now, looking at that side, and I know like, hindsight is 20/20 always, but when I look at that team, I just can't fathom how they were so poor a year ago, because that to me looks like a class side. Look at it. Look at the names. And, you know, if I put my English fan hat on for a second, who would I take into an England team out of that Wales side? I would take the scrum half. I'd take 9. I'd probably take 10, Dan Biggar. I would take the 2 wingers. Probably the whole back 3, actually. I'd take the whole back 3, 9 and 10, and 12. So, yeah, I would take 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'd take 6 out of the 7 back line to start for England if I had the choice. And in the forwards, I'd take Jack Morgan, possibly take Will Roland the way he's playing, which is amazing, isn't it? Bearing in mind he's English, so is Nick Tompkins, and I was calling for Nick Tompkins to be an England player when England were ignoring him and before he chose Wales. I wasn't really calling for that for Will Roland, so he's done remarkably well. So yeah, they just. I look at this and I think this is a class team, and actually I'm saying that all 4 fixtures are knife edge 50-50 calls. I think if you were, in fact, here's a question for you. If you were ranking easiest to call to hardest to call in all of the fixtures, I put Wales-Argentina the easiest to call. Not easy, don't get me wrong, still a 50-50 call, it's still very tight, but I think Wales are clearer favourites than any other team in any other match. I think they're going to win this. I think they could win it well. And that's more to do with Argentina being poor. But I think Wales are legitimately good. Aaron Wainwright, as expected, into the number 8 jersey. And in terms of Warren Gatland's man management, I did start to wonder whether the myth of Gatland, the legend of Gatland, had started to wane. When he didn't pick Johnny Sexton in the Lions squad, I was kind of scratching my head a little bit, and I thought the Lions tour was not good whatsoever. But Aaron Wainwright, the way he's managed him, is a brilliant example of why Warren Gatland is great, because he was kind of cast aside by Wayne Pivac, and as soon as Gatland came in, he put Wainwright back in and he said, "You're my man, and go and do what you do." And he's been fantastic. He's been absolutely brilliant. So Wales should be confident. Whilst it's a massive loss, no Faletau, it should be good. And also, I think yes, there's some youth in that team. You look at Jack Morgan and Lewis Rees-Zammit. There are a couple of players you can build a team around for the next few years. But there are some guys that will not be at the next World Cup. And we know this. Potentially this is Dan Biggar's last game in a Wales jersey, unless they win, of course. But you look at the bench, and that's fresh blood right there. It's almost like it's going to be symbolic when some of the players come on. If Costello comes on for Dan Biggar, that's going to be symbolic. That's going to kind of be a handing over of the torch. And the same with a bunch of other positions there. Rio Dyer on for Josh Adams, perhaps. It will be a similar kind of story. I do think the one danger for Wales with the selection of the Rafael and Morgan in the back row is, do they have enough ball carrying threats in the side? But then I look at Wainwright, I look at Roland has stepped up into that role, and Jack Morgan is going to have to do a bit more of that. But equally, I think that may be why Dewi Lake has got his spot on the bench. I mean, I just assumed before the World Cup Dewi Lake was going to be the starting hooker. I know injury was a part of that, and Ryan Elias has taken his chance. But I think that may be why Dewi Lake is on the bench, because whilst his arrows can sometimes go astray, his ball carrying is outstanding, and he could take some of that workload that's going to be left by having no Taulupe Faletau. And I love Thomas Williams on the bench. Again, before the World Cup, he was my favourite Welsh 9. Gareth Davies is, arguably playing the best rugby, certainly in years, maybe of his career. But I love Thomas Williams on the bench. If Wales do need to chase the game, if they do need to speed it up, widen it, open it up, who better than Thomas Williams? I feel very positive about that Welsh side. I know Welsh fans will be nervous. I think you can have confidence. I've seen Argentina twice and I've seen Wales twice in this World Cup. You've watched them on the telly as well. Argentina are not good. They have the potential to be a 10 out of 10 and beat anybody in the world. But more often than not, at the minute, they're more like a 5 or 6 out of 10 and more than beatable. Whereas Wales, with a team with that backline and guys like Dan Biggar and Liam Williams in key positions, and a skipper like Jack Morgan, they don't seem to hit, and coached by Warren Gatland, they don't seem to go below 7 out of 10. So I see this being a Wales win. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments, give the video a thumbs up, and I will see you on the next one. Argentina's team, I think, is announced late this afternoon, at which point I will have a little preview of the game with their lineup, and I'll put the Wales and Argentina lineups together and do a combined 15, as I will do for all of the fixtures. See you on the next one.